What's going on, everyone? Talon back here, and today I wanted to just do a little bit of kind of a follow-up and more of my personal thoughts on this new, I'm going to call it basically Limit Z Awakening when it comes to basically what we're getting in November. If you guys saw the scan for this new, for the old actually, Super Saiyan 3 Agility Goku, who, let's be honest, isn't really used this much anymore, unfortunately. So, I mean, he was a great card when he first came out, but he's, you know, a lot of people have surpassed him, basically, right? A lot of cards definitely have surpassed him. So, basically, the system, if you haven't seen the video already, because it was mixed in with a lot of V-Jump information and translations and everything, is that we're going to be able to take our TUR guys, or certain ones, or however many they decide to implement it first, or, you know, eventually down the road, you know, we'll be able to take them and basically push them up to a pre-LR, where they're going to be at level 140. You're going to be able to bring your SA up to 15, very similar to how Super Strike cards are. So if you're wondering how you're going to get them up to SA 15, essentially what you're probably going to have to do, unless you want to use old Kais, is after you awaken one, so let's say, for example, with Goku, you have a Goku at SA 10, you get him up to that Limited Z Awakening, and then you got to get another one that's at SA 5, get him up to the Limit Z Awakening. Man, that's going to be a tongue twister right there. And then you feed the SA level 5 into the SA 10, and boom, you got SA 15, just like the Super Strike cards, okay? So that's kind of how we're assuming it's going to be, and I know I'm going to say 99% sure it is going to be that way. But one thing, and there are a few things that I want to kind of go over, and in the long run, is it worth it? Now, before anybody shoots me in the comments right now, I'm more referring to certain cards. There are certain cards who are going to benefit from this tremendously, like no tomorrow, and they're going to be, you know, you're going to see them all. You're not really going to see them in the friends list, but you're going to see them more in videos and people using them and everything. But there are others potentially that might not get what they're looking for, unfortunately. So we'll have to see exactly if that's the case. And yeah, we're not really sure in terms of that. So yeah, but first off, I want to go over how can we even awaken these guys, right? We want to be able to awaken our, you know, Goku, Frieza, whoever it potentially could, you know, be. A lot of people are speculating it's going to be the first 5 original mono leaders. So Cell, Broly, Goku, Gohan, and Frieza. Again, we have no idea. All we know is that Goku, as of right now, is the only one announced. I'm assuming we're going to get more information the closer this thing gets to release, or however they want to do it. It's kind of weird that they are showing us that, you know, like, hey, bring along Golden Frieza, Majin Vegeta, and King Piccolo as your tech guys. It's kind of like, well, the guy's agility, but wouldn't any tech guy work? I mean, I guess I would have understood more if they were bringing out lower range characters, but Golden Frieza is still he's still kind of new, right? He's 100% all stats up leader guy, so it's kind of just like, why those guys? Like, you know, most people have better cards than that, at least, you know, because a lot of people re-roll and everything. So I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of weird. But anyway, so the way it's going to go, though, is the fact that there are 4 different metals that you can go with: bronze, silver, gold, and people are calling it rainbow. I personally can't see it, though, because of my eyes, but I'm not really sure. Again, I'm just going to call it a rainbow metal to say, but essentially, however, you know, you get a certain amount of metals, and then you're going to rank them up, basically. I'm not sure exactly how far each metal does, or if you have to get a combination of all of them, like a bunch of bronze, maybe a few silver, 1 gold, and 1 rainbow. You know, I don't know exactly how it's going to go. But one thing that does catch my interest is the fact, besides, you know, that you can go to SA 15, which is awesome, is the fact that they say skills will change. Now, we don't know if that means passive skills, leader skills, links, the whole... We don't know any of that, okay? It could easily just be one. It could be all of them. It's kind of hard to say, especially because Dokkan's been kind of... What's the word I'm looking for? Random with how they change certain passives sometimes, because there are definitely cards that have gotten a passive increase. Wasn't exactly very good. I'm going to go over some examples of each one that I'm going to categorize at least. We kind of have the ones that got their bad passives just basically brought up a little bit, and it's still a bad passive in today's meta, unfortunately. You have ones that went from bad to semi-good, and you have ones that went from bad to really good, actually. So one that I like to use all the time when it comes to a bad to a really good one is the recent, well, within the month at least, month or two, is the recent Super Saiyan 2 Physical Gohan. He went from a passive of have +5 ki, and then you will give everyone +2000 attack. In today's meta, that is absolutely trash, right? No one would ever run him. But he got bumped up to, as of right now at this moment, the best rainbow support ever, with a passive of giving 35% attack and defense to everyone. That is a huge jump, and we finally see they can change from flat boost passives to percent passives, because as you know, percents are much better than a flat boost right now because of how leader skills are and everything, okay? So that is an example of a really good buff, okay, obviously. Now, a really bad one that I personally like to use is the Spirit Bomb from the second Cooler movie, Goku, the Super Saiyan physical Goku. He's, he's holding the Spirit Bomb. He's a really good stunner and everything, where he had a flat boost passive at the beginning, which only gave him an attack boost, and then he got an attack and defense boost when he got his Dokkan awakened, and it was only like 5,000 or something like that, which is, I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that any of these cards are bad. I'm talking about the passives explicitly. You can still use that Goku as an amazing stunner, right? He's going to be stunning like no tomorrow, but you can't deny it that that flat boost of going from like, what, 2,000 to 5,000 or whatever that small little change is, it doesn't make a difference, right? You are not taking him to all of a sudden be this powerhouse, right? And we all know that the way that the game is used right now is the more power, the better, the happier people are, apparently, or something like, however they want to do it. So that is what, some examples of how they can change passives. So let's look at this for a second though. If, for example, this SSJ3 Goku gets a leader skill change, we kind of can call already what it's going to be. It's probably going to be something like +3 key or +4 key, some kind of stat boost, more than just simply the 3,000 attack, and that's going to be about it, right? So I don't personally think it's going to be a passive skill or a leader skill change or whatever, right? I don't personally see them doing that, and so that's why I'm going to go on to this next one and say it's probably going to be within the passive skills, and maybe it could potentially be how supers are changed. Maybe like the super, instead of just normal lower in defense, changes to greatly or attack and greatly lower attack, or maybe from extreme to supreme, supreme to immense. However they want to do it, we'll have to see. I don't really know. But when we're looking at something like the Super Saiyan 3 Goku right now, we all know he gets a 100% up in the attack for 7 turns. Now, when he originally came out, this was fine. 7 turns was fine. A lot of people would go past that 7 turns, but he still is a really good card. When Super Vegito came out, a lot of people kind of dropped this Goku because at that time we weren't able to take events down so fast, and so his passive was kind of a backfire. And so you brought other people along, the new Super Saiyan Blue Goku who got his Dokkan Awakening and all that kind of stuff. And they were just a lot better, right? Still 100% damage, just like the Goku. Didn't have the turn restriction, had a lot more power to him, and it linked up better overall. Because this Goku has over in a flash, not prepared for battle, which at the time, Super Vegito's team, for the most part, was more of a shocking speed prepared for battle team, not an over in a flash team, okay? Again, it depended on what you had, and you could still run him if you had Kaioken Blue Goku. But nonetheless, a lot of people didn't really run him. Then we started getting into the Super Saiyan 4s and the 120% leads, and that's where Goku really started to shine again, especially if you put some stuff into the ability system for him, which is really good. You saw a lot more people use him, he could potentially hit really hard, and you were able to finish off most of those events in under the 7 turns that it was required, so it was totally fine. Again though, it really depends on what could potentially change. And so first I want to look at his super attack. I want to look at the type of damage he does as of right now. And then we'll have to see from there if it will change or not, and what could the passive do as well. Because if the passive does not change the way we want it to, then potentially it might not make a difference depending on how far out this, if we continue on the rope of all these percent increases, and then we get nothing, and then they're at, their stat boost or whatever. It's like, okay, you boosted the stats because they leveled up, but if the passive doesn't change in a certain way sometimes, you might not use them again. So, and again, it also depends on how the super attack has changed, because you are going from SA10 to SA15, okay? So first off, I'm going to use 2 examples. I'm going to use the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and I'm going to use the Int Gohan, which a lot of people love, and he is pretty good still, and he's got a formidable super attack, so that's really nice, okay? So first off, let's go with Goku, okay? As of right now, SA10, and he does supreme damage when I'm looking at the card. He does not do immense, okay? So to make this guy like someone you would start using all the time compared to simply not really touching because it's like, well, yeah, he got a Dokkan Awaken, but I still have people who can hit harder because of the type of damage they do or because of the boost or whatever it might be, right? And some of these events are starting to go past the 7 turns now, and so you're not really able to rely on that sometimes unless you have them off rotation, which I guess is cool, but kind of defeats the purpose, right? I mean, in these kind of days, anyone you have off rotation, for the most part, you kind of want to have more support guys, right? Support the bigger hitter guys that are going to be able to do more damage and finish it off as fast as you possibly can kind of thing, right? At least that's just the way I personally look at it. Some people are different. It all depends on what you have, though, okay? So, my personal thoughts, though, if this Goku was to come back onto my team or to, I think, a lot of people's team in general right now, is first off that SA-15 has to increase it to immense damage, right? Most cards you use these days on an agility team are going to be immense. Some are supreme. For example, like Super Saiyan Blue Goku is still an amazing guy, but his attack is up 100% on the super attack. Not to mention the dude is deadly dangerous in the ability system and everything like that. And I believe he does hit harder than the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So that right there just proves that if that, you know, depending maybe if they do increase it to immense or they make it like a multiplier of 150 instead of 100 of whatever it is right now, sorry, I don't have it in front of me, then potentially, again, the stat increase will be nice, but if it's minimal, because it's not going to the LR status just quite, then maybe it's not going to be as good, right? I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to point this thing out. I'm not trying to say, and I know people are going to say this in the comments already, I'm not trying to say this is a bad system. I'm not trying to say that they should not be doing this in the game or anything like that. I'm just trying to look at it from a realistic standpoint of, yes, it's cool to get this update, but is it worth it? Let's look at it, right? Let's look and see, is it worth your Kais? Is it worth the extra Gokus and all that kind of stuff, okay? Is it worth your personal time, okay? So, and then obviously something else to keep in mind is that if we take the Goku and we get him up to, or if they change his passive to something like maybe 10 turns or 15 turns, or just take away the turn passive or turn restriction completely, then I personally think we could start seeing him more and more, because especially if you have someone like LR Mars and Vegeta on the team and everything like that, then you really start to get some key into him, and boom, he's gonna be hitting like a truck basically, right? So if they actually are serious about improving a lot of these older cards, they need to be able to change and be willing to change, because sometimes we know they can, but they're not willing to for some stupid reason or whatever the reason is. I mean, it's just like when adding links in, like, why not give Ultimate Gohan Prepare for Battle, right? Bandai and all, Akatsuki and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. So if they really want to make this, you know, usable for a lot of people who have these older cards and maybe not have as many of the newer cards, but be able to really utilize a lot of your older cards that you have that you still like to use and everything, and you put a lot of, you know, not stones, but orbs and everything into them, then that would be worth your time if they are willing to change that. If it is literally just a stat boost and a skill change of, hey, instead of 7 turns, it's 9 turns now, again, it's hard to say. Again, and we don't know the power increase they're going to get from a 10 SA to a 15 SA. We don't know the jump right there. Is it going to be the same as Immense? Is it going to be greater than Immense? Or will it still stay at Supreme? It's kind of hard to say at this point, so we don't know. Now, one person that I personally see not benefiting from too much unless they change the attack boost you get with the passive, and that is the Int Ultimate Gohan. Now, before anyone again shoots me in the comments, Int Gohan is amazing. He's a great card. He's got a great passive. He's self-sufficient, easy to put on an Int team, and he's really good. He's got a farmable SA to get him up to SA 10 now, and he's really good. But that 10,000 attack boost, okay? Let's leave it at the current state that it's in with the meta right now, okay? 120% leaders and the category leaders, okay? So but because Gohan, Int Gohan cannot get put onto a strength Gohan team, we're going to put him onto the Gogeta team, okay? That's 120% as of right now, this recording. Put him onto a 120% team. At 10,000 attack boost is nothing compared to someone like Vegeta Blue with 100%, the Trunks who gets 12% on every orb, and all that other stuff, okay? 10,000 attack is nothing on this team, okay? It is a good boost, but it is, you have to admit, it is nothing. So, how do they change Gohan to actually want you to put him onto this team and be a powerhouse again? Change that passive to a percent. Do not leave it as a flat boost unless you are going to levels of Mass Sand of 50,000 attack or something like that, which I guess it could, but again, I'm not really sure. if you don't do that and you just leave his passive or put it up to like 15,000, that is nothing, and it's not going to make much sense. So I'm sorry if I'm sounding like a bit of a daddy downer right now, but that is the hard truth. If they do not take these changes to the skills seriously and really put some effort into it, this is just going to be looked at as like, oh, cool idea, but you didn't really deliver on it, unfortunately. So again, I'm just trying to look at this from a realistic view on this and just kind of give you guys my impressions of it. Again, this is all speculation. I have absolutely no idea if this is going to be the case. We'll have to see and just see where they go from there. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm ready to see exactly what characters are going to get this boost. I don't see it being all at the beginning, maybe down the road eventually, but at the beginning, I'm seeing more of the old mono leaders and a lot of these older cards, which is really cool. I'm all for that. But again, if they do not put the effort in to really change the leader skills and how the super attacks and all that kind of stuff, then it's all for nothing, basically, right? So, again, though, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, guys. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this. Besides, you know, let's get past the honeymoon stage of, woo, we get to level up our old cards kind of thing. Let's really take a look at this and see, is this going to be worth it or not, okay? Depending on certain cards. Like I said, Goku could still be really good. Gohan, not so much unless they change that flat passive a lot, okay? So again, we'll have to see. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments as always. Leave a like if you liked the video. Subscribe if you happen to be new. And until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next one.